Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Keith Jardine to defeat Hank Schrader. And I'm here to talk about Westin Wilson versus Jean Silva. Westin Wilson is 16-8, 34 years old, and he's got 6 inches of height and 4 inches of reach over 27-year-old Jean Silva, who is 11-2. And not the guy who fought Gomi way back when. Jean Silva, both these guys are potent finishers. Westin Wilson's got 16 wins, 16 finishes. Jean Silva's got 11 wins, 10 finishes. So, on paper, this should be exciting. Jean Silva's one decision victory comes in his best win yet over Kevin Vallejos on the Contender Series. It's not Vallejos. I forget what they were calling him, but I'll call him Vallejos because I forgot the pronunciation. But that was a great look for him, in my opinion, winning a battle like that, because he really had to work to slow down Kevin Vallejos and take over the fight down the stretch. And for a guy that had only been to a decision twice and lost both of those fights, I think it was a great look for him to get his first decision victory as he comes into the UFC. And again, that was a good battle, but every other victory of his is him steamrolling his opponents. 8 of them are in round 1, 2 of them are in round 2. And of the 10 finishes, there are only 2 submissions, and they're both guillotines. I saw both of them. One of them was in 30 seconds, the other one a little deeper into round 1. But look, if either guy is going to take the other one down and methodically out-grapple him, it's going to be Westin Wilson winning that fight, in my opinion. But still, just having a few nifty chokes and some things you're dangerous with could come in handy against a guy like Westin Wilson. Because Westin Wilson, despite, in my opinion, being the overall better grappler, he has been submitted 4 times in his 8 losses. So, historically at least, he's vulnerable there. And Jean Silva is dangerous, if nothing else. But on the feet is where Jean Silva is going to want to keep this fight. And he certainly has above average power, and definitely the power, I think, to crack Westin Wilson. And Jean Silva, he is my pick to win this fight. Jean Silva by knockout. That's my pick when I look at the two of them. But now I'm going to spend the rest of the video making the case for Westin Wilson, because that's what we do here at MMA Al Dente, as Joffrey the Kitten will tell you, right? You gonna shit on the paperwork? Okay. But Westin Wilson, he's vulnerable in a lot of ways. That's why I'm picking against him. He has 4 submission losses. I've seen a good amount of them. The Gogo Plata to this guy who, I don't know what the hell he's doing, Andrew Tennyson. Guy should not be retired. But whatever, he was submitted by a few different guys. And he actually almost had that guy, Andrew Tennyson, out before that in a submission, a Darce or something. But anyway, Westin Wilson is very dangerous himself, despite being submitted 4 times. He's got 11 of his 16 wins being by submission. He is a much niftier submission artist than Jean Silva. Much more variety in his subs, although the recent submissions of his, I think 3 out of the last 4 are guillotines. And a few of them are power guillotines. He's got these long arms, and he's a dangerous submission artist. And on the feet, he's got this karate style that is starting to work against him a little bit. He's like most karate guys, he leaves his hands low and whatever. But he's still effective on the feet. He's long and tall, 6 inches of height, 4 inches of reach here in this fight. And if he was more sharper and agile like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he could really make that karate work for him. But he is vulnerable now. He's got 2 knockout losses, and they both come in his last 2 losses. Teruto Ishihara knocked him out standing with a clean shot a few years ago. He's a former UFC fighter, 5-6 years ago, whatever. And also Joe Anderson Brito knocked him out. That was on the ground, but it's still a strike against his chin, a major strike against his chin. Even though those guys are both dangerous guys, this is still 2 concussions as the guy's 34 years old. So they make him vulnerable to the knockout just as much as the 4 submission losses in years past make him vulnerable to the submission. In general, he's a vulnerable guy, and I don't trust him coming into the UFC, really. I don't think he's going to do too well. But considering his unique striking on the feet, as unique as it gets anyway with the karate, considering his better submission skills, and the fact that his primary discipline is wrestling. He is a wrestler first and foremost. I think there's value on Westin Wilson at 525. I just think it could be a case of Jean Silva, looking great, but not facing every obstacle as of now. If Westin Wilson is able to take him down, this could totally be his fight. And if he's just able to not get knocked out and he's able to withstand the power of Jean Silva in scrambles, although, again, I don't trust Westin Wilson's submission defense, but I trust his offense. I think he'd be more likely to get the submission. So a few sprinkles on Westin Wilson, but the pick, of course, is Jean Silva. I think the way things are trending, Westin Wilson is unhealthy, and he's becoming more fragile, of course, chin-wise, and that's going to be the deciding factor. So a few sprinkles on Westin Wilson, and the pick is Jean Silva by knockout. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.